Greetings, listeners, domestic, international, and extraterrestrial. Finally, once again, I am Dave Reed.
And I'm Kristen Riley, and this is the Cast Files.
I am still a nerd who has still somehow never seen the X-Files.
And I watched it when it originally aired.
Still?
Yes.
That didn't change?
It didn't change.
Okay, cool.
I didn't go back in time to change watching TV.
That would be a weird thing to change. If you're going to change something by going back in time, that would be an odd one.
You know, the butterfly effect, who knows what would happen. I might be a doctor right now.
Wow.
Well, The Cast Files is a podcast where we watch and discuss every episode of The X-Files, spoiler-free.
Today, we are talking about Season 3, Episode 3, D.P.O. It originally aired October 6th, 1995. It was written by Howard Gordon, directed by Kim Manners, and starring a young Jack Black.
It sure does.
I was so excited when he showed up because I've mentioned him on this podcast a dozen times now, never knowing that he was going to be a guest star. So it was really fun.
And then he was ready for his close-up with his acne. You see he's got a white head in one of the shots.
Well, he's a young Jack Black.
He is.
And we might as well get to this. I'm sure you already have something about it, but also guest starring Giovanni Ribisi.
Yes.
Who is a phenomenal actor.
That is true. I have some notes about what it took for him to become D.P.O.
Bad makeup scar on the back of his head, and then good acting. And a spray bottle for all the sweat.
Oh my gosh. So much sweat. Why? Why is one person in every episode so sweaty?
It's electrolyte imbalance.
Is that what it is?
He drinks so much Gatorade.
But I feel like every episode has one sweaty person.
You're probably right.
Is that to depict who the bad guy is?
Oh, bad guys are sweaty.
Oh.
Interesting.
We're sweaty if we walk outside, so I guess we're the bad guys.
Everybody in Florida's a bad guy.
Are we the baddies?
Yes.
If we walk outside, we are. Alright, so you ready to get into it?
Sure.
IMDb says that this is about 5 male teenagers in Connorville, Oklahoma were reported to have been struck by lightning, and one of them has survived.
Okay, I guess that's accurate.
The most recent death draws Mulder and Scully in, and at the confrontation of local law enforcement, they must solve the case before they, too, are fried.
I don't know if either of them are ever actually in danger of being fried.
I don't think they are.
No.
Well, here's a Kim Manners note. You mentioned that he directed it. During the filming of this episode, his best friend was killed.
Oh, what?
Yep.
Not struck by lightning.
It doesn't say no, but
that would be a wild coincidence.
It would be. Due to the horrific nature and timing of the death of his best friend and his best friend's son, they were going to give him time off, of course,
right.
But and replace him with someone else. It doesn't say who. But he insisted on completing the episode.
They were probably going to replace him with Rob Bowman.
Probably.
Director of Airborne, the rock and rollerblade movie.
That's right.
Starring Shane McDermott, Seth Green, and a young Jack Black.
Yep. All right, so the cast. You have mentioned Giovanni Ribisi. He is Darren Peter Oswald.
Or D.P.O.
That's right. He's also the actor in Sneaky Pete, which I've never seen, but I recognize his face from the cover of Sneaky Pete.
Yep. He's also in a short-lived sitcom called Dads, also starring Seth Green, and another Cast Files alum, as in I've mentioned his name before, Peter Riegert.
Ah, I did not know that.
You probably still don't know who Peter Riegert is.
Nope.
You would recognize him, but it's not he's not a household name.
I see.
He is friend of the pod, though.
I see.
Anybody who I've mentioned
Hi.
is a friend of the pod.
Hi, I'm sorry I don't know who you are, but I'm glad you're a friend of the pod. At least half of the pod, I guess.
No, just the pod. Not me.
Oh, I see.
The pod.
Okay. All right, fair enough. Did you know that Giovanni Ribisi has a twin sister?
I did not. Is it Giovanna Ribisi?
No, it's Marissa.
Oh.
And she was in Dazed and Confused and Pleasantville.
Oh. I wonder who she was in Dazed and Confused.
Me too. The one who looks like Giovanni Ribisi.
Yeah, the one who's not Mila Jovovich, Parker Posey, or what's the lady's name who is not Bridget Jones's Diary lady? There's the two actors that look
Yes, they
like
do.
Joey Lauren Adams.
Yep. We also have Jack Black as Bart Zero LaQuarrie. Did you know that both of Jack Black's parents are satellite engineers?
Satellite engineer?
Yep.
Wow, no, I did not know that. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm. Ernie Lively is Sheriff Teller. He was also in Stop, or My Mom Will Shoot.
Nice.
And Karen Witter is Sharon Kavit. Karen's IMDb is another one that was really fun to read. The little summary.
Okay.
Yes. The very last sentence I pulled, and it says, Karen is super fit. She loves to do yoga, acrobatics, skip on the beach, her TRX, and her pro ski simulator.
Wow. That's too specific, Karen. We know you wrote that.
Oh, yes. It even says mini bio written by
Okay.
Karen.
Super fit, though. That's good, because she was fit in 1995. It's almost 30 years later.
It's true. I have more on her and her super fitness a little bit later.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah. Another production note before we get into the episode. The genesis of this episode can be traced back to a note card reading Lightning Boy. That series creator, Chris Carter, had tacked to a board in his office since the first season.
Excellent. I'm glad they finally got around to it.
Yep. Writer Howard Gordon described the episode's concept as Beavis and Butthead electrified.
I see it.
Yeah.
Now that you say that,
Yep.
I see it.
Yep. All right. So ready to get into the actual episode? That was all my pre-episode stuff.
Sure.
Nobody cooks like Aunt B.
Yeah, I saw that too. We open with a really nice crane shot.
It is a nice crane shot.
It might be it's the first crane shot that I've noticed.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. There may be another crane shot, but this could be the first crane shot in the X-Files.
I do not know. I do not have a note on that. At the video arcade in Connerville, Oklahoma, two young men, Jack Hammond and Darren Peter Oswald, argue over a game of Virtua Fighter 2.
They do.
Oswald is sweaty. I have a new way to survive.
Oh, cool.
Don't.
Well, yeah, don't say it yet.
Okay. Production note, Darren Oswald was named after X-Files writer Darren Morgan.
He was the story editor on this one.
Hammond pushes Oswald to the ground, after which the power in the arcade mysteriously shuts down.
Yeah, at first he's being a bully and threatening him, and he says, I've got a new game to play. I go first, and that's when he shoves him to the ground.
That's right, it was real stupid.
It's important to mention because when Giovanni Ribisi gets up and all the lights are off and it's all creepy and stuff, he does his, is it my turn to go now?
That's right.
I was like, ooh, wow, that was effective. That was creepy. You did good. Everybody did a good job.
Congrats, everybody.
Because that was spooky.
So all of the power goes out except the jukebox, which is playing Ring the Bells by James.
James.
I did actually. You asked me if I knew who it was, and I
Yeah.
said no, and then I read my notes.
Wow.
So
I feel betrayed.
I'm a lying liar face.
Yes, you are.
That's what happens. We are off for a couple of weeks, and I come back and just straight up lie. First paragraph in.
That song does not sound anything like the other James song that I know. The only other James song that I've ever heard, probably. Laid? Oh, you've absolutely heard that song before.
Okay. You're right. I have heard it before.
Yes, great song. That one's a good one.
So Jack Black is standing there, and he tells Hammond that he shouldn't have done that. And Hammond says, why not? What's he gonna do? Because Hammond is a bigger dude.
Yeah, he's a big old bully.
Yeah, big old non-sweaty bully.
Because I thought the bad guys were sweaty. He's definitely the bad guy in this.
Well, is he the bad guy in this?
Oh, you don't think he deserves murder?
Aren't they both the bad guys in this?
I guess.
Aren't they all the bad guys in this?
Even Jack Black's a bad guy in this.
Yes.
He's a different character in the cold open than he is the rest of the episode.
I think his character switches at the very end when he is like, oh shit, consequences.
I disagree, because when he talks to him later, he's always trying to get him to stop doing stuff.
We'll see. We'll disagree to disagree.
Okay.
So after Hammond says, why not? What's he going to do? That's when Jack Black explains how toxic masculinity hurts us all.
Yeah, see? He's a good guy. He knows better.
Just kidding. He doesn't do that. This causes Hammond to leave because Oswald is creepy, like you explained. But when he goes outside to start his car, he finds the same song playing on the radio. And then he is fatally electrocuted through the ignition. Oswald, who is staring out the window, witnesses this. All of it.
He's traumatized because he was a witness to tragedy.
Yep. And that's it.
Then the do.
No. And then, so Oswald is watching. We see that. But then he turns around and he returns to his game. And Zero is unbothered by it all at this point.
Yeah, he's a different character in the cold open.
And
than the rest of the episode.
I disagree still. He is the same character all the way until about the last 10 minutes, and then he's a different character.
Hard disagree.
Well.
I won't have this JB slander. Friend of the pod, Jack Black.
Hi, Jack. How you doing? Production note. Giovanni Ribisi auditioned for the role of Darren twice.
Okay.
During his first tryout, Carter was dissatisfied with his performance, but after casting director Rick Milligan championed his cause and secured him another audition, Carter reconsidered his initial opinion. I feel like Chris Carter could be difficult to work with.
Makes sense. I figure a lot of people are, if they're in charge of a thing.
Yeah.
But in 95, isn't Giovanni Ribisi a known actor?
I guess not.
Okay,
I don't know. Well, while you look that up, Spotnitz later described Ribisi's performance as, quote, really, really good.
Yes. Well said.
Hammond is the latest of 5 local men who have died due to lightning-related causes, causing Fox Mulder and Dana Scully to investigate. Scully talks to Bart Zero Licori, the arcade owner, and Oswald's friend, who was present the night Hammond died. So they come to town, and they're like, hey, this seems weird. But unlike most things in the X-Files, it is weird. They are correct. They are actually correct in this being weird. So, Science Corner with Kristen. From weather.gov, according to the NWS storm data over the last 30 years, and this sample size is from 1989 to 2018, covering the time of this episode, the U.S. has averaged 43 reported lightning fatalities per year. So 5 of them happened in this little town. That's wild. Only about 10% of people who are struck by lightning are killed. Did you know that?
No.
90% survive. They do often have other side effects. There are physiological and psychological things that can happen.
Their electrolytes are off.
Yes.
And
they just sweat constantly.
Kill Jack Hammond.
Yep.
Okay.
But yeah, 90% of people who are struck by lightning do have... There are repercussions. There are various things that happen, but they survive.
And are those indirect hits then? Because I feel like if you took a direct hit...
They must be, because... Yeah, if you're going to get hit directly, I think you're SOL. But if it hits a tree and then jumps from the tree to you, you're still hit by lightning. But
yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah.
All
so
right.
most likely you're not going to be murdered by lightning.
That's good, because then you have a really good chance of winning the lottery after that.
That's the law, right?
Yeah, that's like statistically the way it works.
Everybody who's ever won the lottery
was hit by lightning already
and survived.
Yeah.
Yep. Correct. That was the other fact that I had.
Okay, cool.
Mulder finds Oswald's high scores on the game's display while they're at the arcade investigating this murder.
And that's when I noticed what day Jack Hammond died.
What day was it?
September 11th, 1995.
Oh, God.
It was Jack Hammond's own personal 9/11.
Oh, that's so awful. Oh.
But Darren Oswald had a good night. He broke his top score 4 times.
Yep, he sure did.
Yeah.
Wow. What a sweaty arcade player. My goodness. I don't know what the temperature is like in Oklahoma in September, but I feel like either more than one person should be sweating or nobody should be sweating.
Well, different people have different physiologies.
I know. I didn't say everyone. I just said more than one.
Okay. All right. Things to consider.
Yes, please do.
Okay.
Please consider them. So Mulder's looking at the arcade game. He's seeing D.P.O. has filled every one of those slots. And that's when they realize that Oswald, who was one of the 5 struck by lightning, but the only one to survive, which is not how lightning works.
Yep. I heard that once. I heard 90% of people survive. Yeah.
But not in this case. It's 20% survive in this case.
Yeah, that's good math.
I did math.
Good job.
Did math on the fly, man. Well, so they put it all together, which is great. And quick. Good job. Good job, guys. The rest of it is all very highfalutin and Mulder just being like, oh, just Mulder being Mulder.
That scene in the autopsy room was so frustrating.
Yes.
He's just skulking in the background, letting the sheriff be a dick to Scully.
That sheriff got under my skin. I have a note on it. So they identify that that Oswald was there that night, the night that the 5th guy died, and they're talking to Zero, and Zero's being like, I don't know, it's all loud in here, so I don't know if anything ever happens outside ever.
He's doing a good job of looking like he's lying.
Yeah, yes. Oh my gosh, yes.
Oh, it's him?
At about the same time that this is going on, Oswald is at work. He works in an auto repair shop called Kavit Auto Body or something like that. And he's working under a car when his boss's wife, Sharon Kavit, comes in. And he is just the creepiest creep. At this time, the Filter song, Hey Man, Nice Shot is playing. And there is a whole story behind that, but I don't go into it because it is definitely a bummer. But here's a bit of trivia that you might not know.
You're not going to tell everybody about our Bud Dwyer?
No.
Okay.
Filter's frontman is Richard Patrick. Richard Patrick has a brother, an older brother, called Robert Patrick. Robert Patrick would later become an X-Files regular.
Yeah. The T-1000. Did you know, I just recently learned this, the scene where he's running after John Connor's on the motorbike in Terminator 2, he had to slow down because he kept catching John Connor.
Oh my god! Whoa!
Yeah.
Is he actually cybernetic?
He must be. He was faster than the dirt bike that Eddie Furlong was driving.
Whoa!
And they were like, you gotta slow down, dude.
That is nuts! Wow. I did not know that, but wow.
Wild.
Yeah. So Oswald is being a creep, standing too close and sweating. He's like all in her space.
Yeah.
Like they're so close you would be able to feel each other's body heat.
I'm wondering just how many, like, what the shooting schedule was, which scenes were shot when. Mm-hmm. Because in this scene, Giovanni Ribisi is coming across as more than a creep. He's coming across as
a predator?
Developmentally disabled.
Oh. Okay, not a predator.
Not a predator.
Not the same thing. You're right, yeah.
But this is the only scene where he comes across that way.
Right, and there's a scene later where they reference that maybe he's developmentally disabled, and Kavit is the teacher for remedial reading, so we know that he's got some learning troubles, whether it's, whatever it is. But you're right, this is a whole different vibe than later.
Yeah, this is the only scene where he comes across that way. So I'm wondering if this was shot first and then they were like, we don't want to go that way.
Maybe.
But this scene's already done.
Right. It's done, so let's just keep going. Mrs. Kavit is obviously upset by this guy, and she's waiting for her husband. And her husband doesn't seem to notice.
No, he is far too oblivious.
It's obviously Oswald isn't picking up on the signals because he doesn't want to.
Right.
But her husband is completely oblivious to how creepy this guy is being toward his wife. Mm-hmm. And that's appalling.
Yeah.
It was gross. As soon as her husband gets there, she stands basically in his same space. She gets as close to him as Oswald had been to her.
Yeah.
But as a married couple, it's okay. Yeah. Husband doesn't pick up on anything. So then the agents arrive and question Oswald at the auto body shop. He claims to not have witnessed anything. He says something like a bomb could go off when I'm playing games or something.
He's in the zone when he's playing Virtua Fighter, too.
Yes. Which, I mean, I guess we've all been there, right?
Yeah, sure. He does a good job of... his character is better at lying.
Yes.
Than Jack Black's character.
Oh my gosh, yes. Yeah, I was wondering, in that scene where Jack Black's character is obviously lying, and it's because it's obvious.
Yeah.
I was wondering if Jack Black was playing that, or if Jack Black was not a good actor.
Oh, weird. I would give him the benefit of the doubt and say he was playing being a bad liar.
I can't tell because his character is so wildly different throughout.
Yeah, and also the other times... No, he's good in other... Well, way later.
Yeah.
At the time in the mid-90s, he's playing himself in Tenacious D.
Yep.
Oh, he's in this movie I don't know if you've ever heard about.
Oh, what's it called?
Airborne. The rock and rollerblade movie.
No.
Starring Shane McDermott.
Oh, who else is in it?
Seth Green.
Oh.
And a young Jack Black.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh. Who directed it?
He has like 4... Oh, Rob Bowman directed that.
Thank you.
He has like 4 lines in the whole movie, though.
Yeah, I'm wondering if Jack Black was, like, just got better later, or just got...
Yeah,
I mean, is he even good? I don't even know.
I mean, he's not he's no Anthony Hopkins.
Right, maybe we just all think he's endearing, and that's fine.
He's very lovable.
He does seem like he would be a fun guy to have at a barbecue.
Yes. For some reason, I thought you were going to say bar mitzvah.
Probably also good.
Also bar mitzvah.
I'm not going to rule it out. Mulder asks Oswald if he considers himself lucky, and Oswald says no. Then Mulder says, of all the people who were hit by lightning, you were the only survivor. But we know that 90% of lightning strikes are not fatal. So him saying no, he doesn't feel like he's lucky.
Makes sense.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Maybe he knows the actual statistics.
That's right. He and the sheriff are having breakfast together every day, so now they're scientists.
Oh, that reminds me of another thought I had at the beginning during that autopsy scene. He's talking about how all these kids were hit by lightning and killed by lightning. You know what we do here? We make lightning. Well, clearly, if you think it's the artificial lightning being made that's killing all these people, maybe you should crack down on that.
Right, do something about it.
Make it safer. If you think these people are killing everybody, why are you not doing anything about that?
Because they've allowed him to have breakfast with them every day, so now he thinks he's also a scientist.
Wow.
And it's just, scientists. It's the good old boys club.
The good old science club.
It's the science club.
Wow.
Yep.
That's a new one for me. I did not know about that one.
Well, now you know. The more you know.
Doom, doom.
Yep. Scully asks Mulder what's in his pocket, and Mulder does not use this as an excuse to be vulgar. Probably because his phone is frying. So he got distracted. Oswald is not... what does he say? He says something like, yeah, it happens to me too, or something.
Bummer.
That's it.
I'm going to leave now.
Yeah. Alarmed by the FBI's presence, Zero visits Oswald at his home that night. A drunk and rowdy Oswald dismisses Zero's worries and summons lightning to strike down nearby cattle. Which, does that make sense?
I guess if cattle are close enough to him when he's hit and they get...
No, I mean, him calling the lightning down. Does that make sense?
Oh, sure, why not? I'm not going to think about it that much. But Jack Black's like, hey, don't do this.
He does
Hey,
say...
stop.
He says, hey, leave the cows alone.
Yeah, oh, George, not the livestock.
And I said, hey, leave the cows alone also. Because I didn't like that part. Jack Black throws his entire body down a hill.
Yeah, athletic. He's young and spry.
Right? Oh my god, could you imagine throwing yourself down a hill like that? How bruised you would be.
Oh, yeah.
You'd tear an ACL. Just...
Oof. I would tear an ACL in my shoulder.
Yes.
Somehow.
Yep. That's what would happen. The lightning strikes Oswald instead of the cows, but we'll find out the next day that it kills a bunch of cows too. And he appears uninjured. Zero runs up to him and he's like, hey, dude! Dude!
Yeah, he's like dazed. So he might be like euphoric or something?
I think he is.
Yeah.
It said, he appears uninjured, though let's be honest, his mental state should be in question. Here's a special effects note. Special effects supervisor David Gauthier created a unique lightning machine for the episode. The device, concealed in the ground, used mirrors and special generators to create the effect of a lightning strike. The device was very powerful, producing 2.9 million CD of luminous intensity.
That's why it doesn't really look much like lightning. I thought it was sort of like bad, like
CGI.
Special effects. Not CGI, but like animation.
Ah.
But it makes way more sense like this. It's real, it's really there, but it's just so bright that it's not showing up on film very well.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
It produced enough energy to singe the grass.
Oh, yikes.
So I bet they got a little shocked in the process.
Yeah.
To keep Ribisi out of harm's way, he stood on a raised platform which was hidden by special camera angles. The effect was augmented by sparks and smoke, and a special anti-fire product was applied to the costumes of the actors hit by lightning.
Huh. Wow.
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
It is. The next day, the agents visit the scene that Oswald struck himself by lightning at, and they find the annoying sheriff. And I said, I don't know if I'm tired or what, but this guy truly pisses me off.
Yeah, the more famous teller never talks, and I wish this guy would pick up on
Shut up. Yeah. I also do not appreciate the dead cows because I am a delicate flower.
You are a delicate flower and a vegetarian.
Yep. I'm a vegetarian. They do find a melted shoe print in the ground after the sheriff fucks off. God, I hated that guy.
He's a weird character.
He
'cause
really
he's
is.
just obstructive and a jerk for no real reason.
Right.
Because even at the end, we'll get there.
Yeah. So they find the shoe print and they link it to Oswald after Scully examines it back in the lab and finds antifreeze.
Ooh, a viscous substance.
That's right. Here's an art production note. The farmhouse used for Darren's home is situated in Albion, British Columbia, and it had been used in the production of the movies Jennifer 8 in 1992 and Jumanji in 1995.
Ooh, Jumanji.
Yeah. The producers had difficulty securing permission to use a dead cow in the episode, which we see being dragged, due to concerns over animal rights groups. And this goes back to how we're not sure what the X-Files' stance on animal rights is.
Right.
Because they keep having to skirt the line between to not piss off the animal rights people. But then they have episodes that are like, animals have rights too.
Yeah.
It's wild.
It makes sense to me, though, to use a real dead cow that is going to be used for something else, because you get multiple uses out of that cow.
That's true.
It makes it a little better, in my opinion.
The art crew did try to create a faux dead cow,
Oof.
but it didn't look real.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure that's very difficult. So
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
no shade to the art crew. Consequently, the producers reached out to a slaughterhouse, and they were able to use a real corpse.
Yeah. And then that corpse got used for something else. I think it's still not great, but I think it's a little bit better.
Meanwhile, Oswald uses his abilities to manipulate local traffic lights, causing a car accident. This is when Zero comes up to him. They're on a billboard at a four-way crossing.
Which I thought was like a fun place to hang out if you're a high schooler in a small town.
Yeah.
That would probably be a lot of fun.
I think so.
Aside from the assault? What is it? I don't know what the crime would be.
Yeah,
Wanton destruction of other people.
Yep. Zero tries to talk Oswald into going to Vegas.
Yeah, Zero's trying to get him to leave everybody alone.
He doesn't say leave everybody alone. He says, we should go to Vegas and you should fuck with some machines.
Yeah, he's trying to get him to leave people alone.
I don't know.
I do. That's why I said it.
Okay. Oswald refuses to leave without the woman he's been harassing relentlessly.
That Jack Black is trying to get him to stop harassing.
He's like, dude. Women like that deserve someone special.
Hey, women like that don't deserve you.
That's true. You know what? Women don't deserve you. You know what? People and cows and everybody.
And best friends.
Oh my gosh. Ugh. Of all the things that Oswald does, the only thing Zero seems concerned about is that Oswald might be high with the feds around.
No, I don't think he was actually concerned that he was high. I think it's one of those exclamations. Are you high?
I know.
No.
But it's the only time that he directly says something critical to Oswald.
Yeah.
Because he does say, "Are you high with the feds around?"
Yeah.
He does say with the feds around.
Finally. I had that written way earlier in my notes. Not with the feds there.
Well, the feds are there. Art production note, according to the art director Graham Murray, the scene in which Darren manipulates traffic lights required the construction of special street lights and a billboard, which could then be manipulated by the crew. This turned out to be, quote, the biggest construction event, unquote, for the art crew.
Wow.
Right?
Interesting for this short scene.
Yeah.
Huh.
Because it's, what, a minute long?
Yeah.
The agents visit Oswald's home and find his mother, who doesn't think much of him, but also doesn't realize how much he enjoys hurting people.
Yeah, I had a note about her earlier.
When she's watching
TV, and she says, manners don't cost nothing.
Yeah.
And he might as well have said, being an asshole is also free.
Right? Yes.
And in this scene, I'm looking at her and I'm like, Mrs. Oswald is Barb from Stranger Things, if she didn't die.
Aw. I feel like Barb would have gotten better friends.
She just has that bad perm and the glasses.
Yes, yeah, the look was definitely there. The glasses were absolutely the 80s.
Yeah.
Oswald's room looks like it smells.
Yes.
And we also get to see Oswald's interior decor. Sure is something.
It's great.
It looks like he put tar on the walls.
It's rough.
It just looks smelly. Mulder finds a cutout picture of Mrs. Kavit, and he finds it inside a porn magazine. But don't worry, Mulder's already read this edition.
April is the cruelest month?
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell that means.
I don't either. That's why I didn't write it down. But here's a bit of trivia.
Okay.
Karen Lore, who plays Sharon Kavit, was Playboy Playmate of the Month for March in 1982.
Oh, wow. I bet she was super fit.
Yep. It doesn't tell you why April is the cruelest month, and she was March, but it would have been really cool if that had lined up.
Yeah. I wonder why they didn't bother to do that. Do you know what the name of the magazine was?
Mm-mm.
I didn't catch it either. I was upset with myself.
Oh.
So they might not have shown it.
I was impressed that Scully went into the closet to get the shoe, because the reason that they're there is to see the shoe print and indent had the shoe size on the bottom of it. And so they're going to see if Oswald's footprint is the same, if it's the same shoe size. So she goes into the closet, and when she comes out and talks to Mulder and he finds the picture, she says, "Oh, there's a yearbook in the closet."
Yeah. So she was paying attention.
Which was nuts, because it was on the side of a box. There were like 11 boxes in there, just all overflowing. Nothing was organized. It wasn't like on a bookshelf or something. No.
I totally didn't catch it.
Well, I did. There was also a bit of trivia about the yearbook page. So that she pulls the yearbook out and they flip it open and they show the picture was cut from that yearbook. They puzzle piece it in. Several crew, including episode director Kim Manners, make a cameo in the form of yearbook page that Scully flips open.
That's fun.
Yep.
I like that.
So then we go back to the car crash scene where Zero and Oswald are hanging out. At the scene of the car accident, Oswald's boss comes to see if he can lift the cars away.
The guy who Jack Black was talking about how good looking he is.
Yep. And he ends up having an oddly timed heart attack while Oswald is staring him down.
Just real creepy looking.
It was very creepy. Oswald then saves his boss by using his electrical powers as a makeshift defibrillator, much to the paramedics' surprise.
And much to my surprise, the paramedics were actually going to use the defibrillator in the correct way.
Yes.
Which does not happen on TV.
It doesn't. But apparently
typically it's used to bring somebody back from the dead.
Yeah, right.
And this time they were like, his heart beats wonky. Let's shock him.
Yeah.
That's how it's supposed to be done.
But the defibrillator that the paramedics were going to use was malfunctioning. And so that's why they were taking some time.
It wasn't drained of charge.
That's right.
Which you can also do with lightning.
You can drain defibrillators?
Yeah. He hit him with lightning.
Okay. You know what?
His electricity powers get real vague in this scene.
Yes, they do. I think Oswald is extra excited because, one, his friend just told him that he's not special, and he's like, I can show you how special I am.
What I think Jack Black said that really set him off was Kavit fixes things.
Yes.
And all you do is bust things up.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
And he's like, oh, I can fix something. Yeah, huh? But first he had to bust it up.
That's right. Ugh. But yeah, so I think that was part of it. And then also we see a line earlier when he and his mom were being rude to each other. He's like, why are you watching that? They're all losers. And she's like, yeah, but at least they're on TV. And so when he does the defibrillator thing, he says, yeah, I got this from TV. I was watching...
Rescue 911.
Yeah. I kept wanting to say Reno 911. I have never seen that, but I have a feeling it wouldn't be helpful in this scenario.
No, not remotely.
Short shorts, right?
Jim Dangle. Officer? Sheriff?
But short shorts.
Lieutenant Dangle wears the short shorts.
Okay. I do appreciate the short shorts. Bring back the short shorts. The agents questions Sharon at the hospital where her husband has been taken now. And she claims that Oswald told her about his powers. And they're like, what? And she's like, yeah.
I think that's when she shows up in the shop towards the beginning. He says about what I said yesterday.
Yeah.
It's probably what that.
I think it was, yeah. The agents also go through Oswald's medical records showing that he exhibited acute hypokalemia, which is an electrolyte imbalance in his blood, so his electrolytes were wonky.
This is where I had written down my Gatorade joke, but I made it earlier in the episode.
I see.
This guy just drinks tons and tons of Gatorade, and it gives him lightning powers.
Gatorade. He is a sportsman.
Yeah.
Did you see how many times he played that game?
Yeah.
Sports is playing games.
A Virtua Fighter is a sport.
Yep.
And that's why Gatorade has a lightning bolt as the logo.
That's right.
Yeah.
It comes full circle. We figured it all out.
Gatorade for lightning powers.
That's right. Use with caution. Use responsibly. Responsibly. Man, I couldn't say that word. Oswald is brought in for questioning by the agents, and he proclaims his innocence and is eventually released by the local sheriff. The agents are trying to hold him for 72 hours on literally nothing.
Yeah, I didn't look it up, but 72 hours seems like a long time to be able to hold somebody with no charges.
Right. What were they even trying to get him on?
Unclear. Even at the end of the episode, it is unclear how he's able to be locked up.
Yeah, they said something like the lawyer is having trouble figuring out how to put a case together. And we're like, yeah.
It's because there is no case.
Based on what?
Like, he's guilty and he's done it, but
yes.
you can't prove any of it.
Right. We know because the episode showed us him doing it, but if you just told me he did it, I'd be like, no.
Yeah. Oh, at the end, there is something to hold him on, now that I think about it.
Okay. Oh, yeah. So at that point, with the agents thinking that Oswald is in the holding cell for days and days and days based on nothing, they go to talk to Sharon, I think again, and that she's at home this time.
Yeah, she's about to leave for the hospital, and they're like, we've got him locked up, so
right.
You don't have to worry about him.
You are safe. And we're like, well, anytime a cop tells you that you're safe, you know you're about to die.
And they establish here that she is clearly afraid of this guy.
Yes.
She knows he's dangerous. She's afraid of him. But now she's going to open up because she thinks he's locked up. Important to hold on to for later.
Yes. And also don't trust the cops because they will lie to you.
Yes.
You're safe. Your husband's safe. And then within moments of this, they find out that he's been released.
By the sheriff.
But the sheriff...
At this point, you're like, why is the sheriff protecting this guy?
Because the sheriff thinks he's a scientist. The sheriff thinks he's an electricity scientist.
It really comes down to that because by the end, he's clearly not been protecting this guy. He's just bad at everything.
He doesn't want the feds there. He doesn't like the feds encroaching on his science, folks. He doesn't want anybody to know about the lightning factory in their area.
Well, he wants everybody to know about the lightning factory because he keeps telling them about it.
I know.
It's a mile through those woods right there.
Right, but he also doesn't want them to actually do anything with that information.
Other than, except that that's the reason everybody's getting hit by lightning.
Right, but also you can't stop it because...
We can't regulate the lightning factory.
We...
Think about the stock market.
We produce jobs and lightning.
It's wild. This character is so poorly written.
Yes.
He has no real motivation.
No! Besides, he wants to be a lightning scientist.
Or he just really likes the proximity.
He thinks he's a lightning scientist by proximity.
He gets to go have breakfast with him at the diner, and he holds his plate out, and he's like, "Can you hit this with some lightning for a little seasoning?"
And they're like, "Dude, we've told you 100 times that's not how this works." And also, they haven't invited him to have breakfast with them. He just always shows up. He's
always asking them to zap his food with lightning, and eventually they just start putting their hand out and going bzz, bzz. He's like, thanks Dale.
And they've had conversations on the side, and they're like, should we go somewhere else?
This is the only diner in the town.
That's it. It's such a small town. There's one diner, and for some reason, none of them can eat breakfast at home.
This is the only town where they will let us build a lightning factory that keeps killing people. We can't go anywhere else.
We have to keep him on our side. So we'll give him a little honorary lightning scientist patch. He also has it on his uniform. He's got his sheriff patch, and he's got his honorary lightning scientist patch.
Junior lightning scientist.
Yeah. And the only thing that he has to do to keep it, they've made it very clear, is keep the feds away from the lightning factory. So, after all of this, the agents are telling the Kavits that they're safe, which they obviously are not. And Oswald gets out because the sheriff just lets him out. And just like you mentioned earlier, Teller was the quiet one, and Teller is named after Teller from Penn and Teller.
Oh, is he really? Wow.
Yep. The pair had wanted to appear on an episode of the show, but when conflicting schedules precluded this from happening, this reference was added instead.
Huh. Wow.
Would have been interesting.
I wonder if Teller would have speaking role on this.
He couldn't, right?
I've seen him talk. Yeah. I've seen him talk in exactly one thing.
Did Penn have his hand up the back of this?
No, Penn was not there with him. Oh, do you think Penn keeps him silent?
Yes.
No.
The dynamic just got real dark.
Yeah. Are you silent or are you silenced?
Teller, blink if you need help. Oh no.
That poor man.
Wow. Oswald goes to see Zero, believing that Zero ratted him out to the agents, which I don't know why he thinks that, but he does. He says something when Scully's interrogating him.
I think this is just because he's not bright.
Yeah, I guess. So he definitely spooks Zero. Zero's like, now there are consequences to my actions, and now I don't want you to be a bad guy.
Disagree. He's, for the rest of the episode outside of the cold open, He's been trying to deflect Oswald to get him to stop doing the bad thing.
He was super stoked that Oswald murdered that dude.
It's the cold open.
But you have to have somebody dead in the cold open, or else what are we doing here?
Yeah, the cold open was definitely electric Beavis and Butthead.
Yes, yeah. It was.
Which reminds me, the new movie is out. We gotta watch it.
Watch it? Oh my gosh.
We should probably do it this weekend.
I thought you were going to say we should probably do drugs.
Oh, yeah, that too.
We should do drugs and watch
Beavis and Butthead.
All right, so after learning of Oswald's release, the agents rush to the hospital to protect the Kavits, but they don't.
No.
Have they protected anyone?
Oh, man. I'm going to say they have. Just
10% of the time, 90% of the time, they're bad at protecting.
It's law of averages. They have to have saved somebody. I don't have anybody off the top of my head.
Just by accident, they accidentally saved somebody.
No, the Hostines. They saved the Hostines didn't die.
Okay.
They just got beat up real bad.
Well, I mean, I guess that's something.
Okay. Also, they didn't do anything to make that happen. That just kind of happened on its own.
All right.
So that can't count.
Nope.
Well, hell.
So they find out that Oswald is probably coming to get the Kavits. This is where Scully finds Zero's corpse, apparently Oswald dragged his dead body from the arcade to the hospital to put him in an elevator.
He gave him the old ho ho ho, now I have a machine gun treatment.
Yep. It was
a well done scene for a TV show.
Yes.
Makes no sense as to why he would do it.
Also, like, he's a small guy.
Yeah, but he has those lightning muscles.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're right.
Yeah, he drinks all that Gatorade.
I forgot how much Gatorade really impacts your well-being and superpowers. Then Scully confronts Oswald and pulls her gun again, and this is another scenario where we have to remind you not to pull your gun if you're not going to use it.
I was going to say, you know how I keep doing an impression of Chris Carter every time you say, what did Chris Carter think about this episode?
Yes.
I was wondering if you would do an impression of me about this scene. What am I about to say about Scully?
You are just going off the rails because you're like, Scully! Why do you have your gun out? Why are you pointing your gun at somebody that you're not going to shoot? What are you doing? Stop warning him. You already have your gun on him. Why are you warning him? She warned him 3 times.
It was infuriating.
It was, yes. And then Mrs. Kavit steps in front of the gun.
Oh, and also infuriating.
And goes with him. Fortunately, Scully lifts her gun.
Yeah.
Immediately.
I guess she's good with gun safety.
With her finger off the trigger.
Mm-hmm.
So she did that, but you can't pull your weapon if you're not willing to use it.
No.
And Oswald in this scene says, I could hurt you. And she said, I could hurt you too. I'm going to count down from 3, 2. It was so stupid.
And here in 2022, what do we know about cops?
They are really willing to shoot anybody.
They can't wait to murder a person.
No, they cannot wait. Can't wait.
Running
away? Are you running away? Shoot you in the back.
Yeah.
11 times. I was afraid for my life. They stole a pack of gum and ran in the opposite direction.
This scene is why I pointed out earlier that Kavit is clearly afraid of this guy. It makes no sense for her to decide to go with him.
No.
In order to save his life?
Right.
Is what it seems like?
It does seem that way.
Yeah. I hate the ending of this.
She basically scolds everybody. Mrs. Kavit is like, you stop it, everybody stop it.
Her teacher mode comes out.
It really does in the weirdest manner.
Yeah.
So she goes with him. They are walking outside, and he's like, I really have a lot of things I need to tell you. Like, remember that dress you wore? And when you stood in front of the window, you could almost see through it? I'm like,
Ooh.
That's what you needed to tell her?
Wow.
All right.
That's what she needed to hear, too.
What she needed to hear was that, so she will burn that fucking dress. She will never wear that dress or any other flowered dress ever again.
This is when he was in high school, so this is years ago. She probably already does not own that dress anymore.
Probably.
Yeah.
It is a small town, though. Like, she can't shop anywhere.
Ah, that's true.
When she got married and moved to this small town to be with Kavit's auto body repair, whatever.
After being in Playboy?
Yes, she brought all of her clothes, and that's all she can wear. It's the clothes she brought with her to the marriage. Like a dowry.
Oh, that's a terrible dowry.
Dowries are stupid.
I never got mine. Still pissed about it.
Did you want, what, some sheep or something?
I was going to say, your dad owes me goats.
Good luck finding him. All right, Oswald confronts Scully and Sharon. She leaves with him. It's all weird. The sheriff shows up and dies?
Yeah, this is where I was expecting to find out why he's protecting Giovanni Ribisi. Like, what's going on here? And he's not. He's just dumb.
He's just incompetent. Look, he's an electricity scientist. He doesn't know anything.
He's a junior electric scientist.
He doesn't know anything about the law.
Junior lightning-ateer.
Yes. While Oswald is distracted by the sheriff getting out of the car, Sharon flees. Mulder grabs her.
I'm not mad at him for this. She's scared. She's gonna get hurt somehow.
I agree, but he just manhandles her to the ground.
Yeah. I'm not going to typically go with, yes, roughhousing this woman is a good thing, but in this scenario, that's what had to happen.
Honestly, this woman's just had a rough
Yeah.
marriage.
Well, I don't know. Kavit might be okay guy.
He's probably
fine.
He's probably fine, but he
He's a
doesn't...
small town guy with a wrecking company on an auto body.
No, I'm not saying that he's a bad guy. He is just completely oblivious to his wife's needs.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
So, but I don't think he's probably not a bad guy. He's just whatever. But however long this kid has been around and working for her husband has been rough for her.
Yes.
Because he's obsessed. So Mulder gets her, and the sheriff dies. Oswald is then captured somehow, and
he's hit by lightning.
Oh.
He's so angry that the lightning hits him, and that's why the sheriff dies.
That's right.
And then he's in that dazed, euphoric state. So I guess they scoop him up when he's down.
You gotta scoop him.
Gotta scoop him.
You have to scoop them when they're euphoric.
Yes. Otherwise, they don't get scooped.
Nope. Then there's no scooping happening. You gotta scoop. Oswald is put in a psychiatric hospital, although the local district attorney has no idea how they will possibly be able to prosecute him.
He's a cishet white dude. He's already persecuted.
Oh, God. Who said that recently?
Me in jest?
James Patterson?
What?
Is he the guy that author that I always mix up with the other guy?
He was talking about
right before Roe, the day before, he's like, it is really hard to be a rich cis het white guy in this country.
And somebody pointed out that he is the best-selling author of all time, has 0 books that are best-selling. He just puts out so much bullshit. He doesn't even write it anymore.
Oh, yeah.
He has a factory. He has like a book factory. Other people writing this bullshit.
It makes sense.
Yeah, it's wild.
Because I see his name everywhere.
The best-selling author of all time, no best-selling books.
That's amazing.
Yeah. He's the Thomas Kincaid of books.
Wow. Well, so now we know that it's really hard to be a rich white guy.
It really is.
Anyway, so they don't know how to put a case against this guy because... What?
Oh.
I guess maybe
he tells Sharon Kavit?
Yeah.
That he boosted a cash machine. He stole money from a cash machine. That's what they have on him that they can get him for.
Yeah, because he does say, I got money from a cash machine.
That's physical evidence of a thing that he's done.
Okay.
So they can get him for that, and that's probably like $50,000. You can get him for grand theft.
And they would, because if it has to do with money, that's the one thing that
they're going to get you.
Will push on. Yeah. That's it, though.
Yeah, that's the only thing that they have, like, evidence for.
Right, because even Jack Black's body, they can assume that he did it, but...
No proof.
No, and if he died by lightning strike, essentially...
They keep ruling all of these as accidental lightning strikes.
Right.
So, case closed on that.
Right.
Yeah.
Man. And he didn't even kidnap Sharon because she went with him.
Yeah, I think you can probably still get kidnapping.
There's probably something...
No, because he's sort of threatening people, but he doesn't have a weapon.
Right. So that'll be a wash.
That'll go nowhere. The cash machine, I think, is the only real charges that'll stick.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So if you're going to commit a crime...
Have superpowers.
Yes. Drink a lot of Gatorade.
Yes.
All right, so the whole time he is in this episode, he's wearing Vandal shirts, and he has a Vandal shirt that says live fast diarrhea on it, and at the very end, that's what we hear. We also see Oswald in the hospital watching TV, and he's changing the channels with his mind or whatever, and as he goes from channel to channel, there is a screenshot that says produced by or directed by Chris Carter, as if he had just caught the tail end of
an X-Files episode.
Yep.
Artistically, nice. Fucks the continuity of the TV show.
It really does, yeah.
So Chris Carter is a person in the X-Files universe.
Of course he is. I mean, have you ever met Chris Carter?
No.
He thinks he is the X-Files. Because he is the X-Files. Chris Carter is the X-Files.
Yeah. I think some people would argue that David Duchovny and Gillian Anderson are the X-Files.
So all three of them are the X-Files.
I would argue that the guy who plays Frohickey is the X-Files.
What a weird character also. Like, they don't know what to do with Frohike.
He started out real bad and then got better.
But who knows?
Well, yeah, I mean, we're only in season
Who
3,
knows?
episode 3.
Who knows what's going to happen?
He could take a wrong turn at Albuquerque.
He might. He showed up at Scully's door completely hammered. He drank that whole bottle of rum.
Yeah, but...
Or whiskey, or whatever.
His best friend was dead.
Best friend?
Yeah.
Aren't the other 2 weirdos his best friends?
He doesn't think so.
That's
they
true.
really are. They are in real life. Not real life, but
Right.
in that world, those are his best friends. But he thinks Mulder's his best friend.
That, you know what? That tracks.
Yeah. Mulder's just way cooler than those 2.
That really tracks.
Yeah.
The 3 of them do literally everything together. They
They're-
call each other at 3 a.m. with just wild
They're
things.
very supportive and very good friends to each other.
Yes.
But he still thinks Mulder's his best friend.
Mulder only calls when he needs something, but still, because he's handsome.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
He's handsome and cool.
You're right.
That's my best friend.
And he doesn't sleep in a bed.
Never. Want to say a little bit about Kim Manners and the direction of this show, of this
okay.
episode, because as we were discussing off mic, it's really, really well directed. The tone of this episode is fantastic. It's creepy. It's spooky. It's so well done that you completely lose sight of the fact that the content is fucking silly.
It's very silly. But that is a really good point that you made while we were watching it, because if it had been directed by, I don't know, anybody else, if it had been directed any other way, this would have been a total throwaway episode.
It would have been one of the worst episodes, probably.
Yeah.
If it wasn't so well directed.
Right.
And acted. Let's
yes.
give credit to the actors, too. Everybody, all of the guest stars were really, really good.
Yes.
Except the sheriff. But
fuck that guy.
yeah,
I
I'm
don't
not
know
going to
if it
blame
was-
the actor
right.
for that, because that character is just really poorly written.
Yeah, because I don't know what that guy has done before or since, but
I know I've seen him in other things.
but that character is
It's one note.
yeah.
Yeah. So, the acting, phenomenal. Directing, phenomenal. And that makes this a solid episode. But if it wasn't for that, if it wasn't for the acting or the directing, you miss one of those elements.
Yes. And then you just
This
get Lightning
is
Boy.
so bad.
You just get Lightning Boy.
Yeah.
Who wrote it?
Howard Gordon, not Alex Ganza. Howard Gordon without Alex Ganza.
Interesting.
Yeah. Think we know who the powerhouse of that duo is.
Seems like it.
So, who you shipping?
I think just the Kavits.
Oh, all right. That's nice.
You know what? I think you're right. I think the husband should be more attentive to his wife's needs, especially when she's obviously terrified of somebody.
Yeah, he needs a little bit more emotional awareness.
Yes.
Yeah.
But he doesn't seem like a bad guy.
Right.
She showed up at his job because they were going to dinner.
Yeah.
So obviously they still enjoy hanging out with each other,
Yeah.
which is good.
Yeah, that's a good thing for a marriage to have.
Good job, guys. Pay attention to who your wife is terrified of.
Right. Do better in that respect. It seems like you're doing solid otherwise.
Yeah.
I am shipping Jack Black and Life
Oh.
because I'm upset. I don't like seeing Jack Black get
Dead?
killed. Hurts my heart.
Who's gonna run the arcade now?
One.
Probably. You gotta go to the next one.
Next
It's
number.
either 1 or -1.
Oh no, that was counting down. He was the last guy to be in charge.
Oh no.
He should have known.
Should have.
The guy before him was one, and he died. Jeez.
It's rough.
All right. So you teased earlier that you have a brand new way to survive?
Yes, and
Okay.
my brand new way of survival is to not argue with the sweaty guy.
Oh, that makes sense. Don't argue with the sweaty guy.
If there's one person who's just really sweaty and everyone else seems to be, just generally moisturized, don't argue with that one person.
All right. I like it. I am going to wear a full rubber suit.
It's going to be so hot. You're going to be the sweaty guy.
I'm going to be, but nobody's going to know.
No.
You're not going to see it.
Are you going to have just nose holes?
It's like just nose holes and maybe a zipper
That seems
that I
like
can
a
open
gimp
for the
mask.
mouth. But it's all rubber.
Does seem like it seems like you're Getting into that kink. Did something happen while I was away? Did you discover a new part of yourself?
Not yet. I have to go get the rubber suit first.
I see. We'll get some baby powder because it's probably going to be tough to get in that thing.
Not if I get sweaty. Because it's rubber, not
Latex?
leather or latex. Because I figured just a nice sheen of sweat, you should be able to slide right into that thing.
I don't know. I don't know if that works.
I honestly don't either.
Well, I guess you could tell me.
Okay.
All right. Anything else?
No.
All right. We'll leave it at the rubber suit.
The Cast Files is produced by Kristen Riley and Dave Reed. Edited by Dave Reed. You can find us on Twitter at Cast Files. You can find me on Twitter at Dave Reed. That's DaiveReed. You can email us at thecastfiles. That's the with 2 E's at gmail.com. If you could please go rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, give us 5 stars, and tell us that we are doing phenomenal things. Artistic, wonderful things. We are raising the bar on podcasting. We would love you forever for that. We have a TeePublic store. You can go buy t-shirts and stuff there. Music by House 6. Logo by @OokaArt. That's OOKAART.